tell from my supplement. It's an assembly all about Mrs. Lawrie. She's really going to love it when I say I've got contributions on here from staff, students, and her own family. Without telling her, I've sent me quite a wealth of information and all video clips. So I've sat Mrs. Lawrie over there, so she has friends around her. I'll just start by saying, you might be thinking, why did you just go into Disney music? One of my prized memories of Mrs. Lawrie, every time I get into her car, she makes lots of apologies for having a Disney box set in there. But I know that Disney music, as her children were growing up, was very important type of music in her life, so I make no apologies for that. So, excellent. Mrs. Lawrie was born, oh yes, on the 13th of May 1953. She had two siblings, and she grew up mostly in, because my mother's family went to Scunthorpe. We worked out that Mrs. Lawrie's dad was my grandfather's bank manager, and that my mum was in the upper sixth of the same school as Mrs. Lawrie when she was in year 7. How strange is that? To the side. So, I have to thank Mr. Lawrie for giving me the inside story on her early life. She took her A-levels a year early, and she got a place at Southampton University for a year hence. And in that gap year, she worked at something called Micro Chemical Plant, which is fairly unremarkable, except many years after Mrs. Lawrie left, there was a huge explosion there, but I'm sure they were not connected. So she started at university and she carried on working in holidays, and this is my favourite fact that Mr. Lawrie told me. Her holiday job was working at British and American Tobacco, testing spit. In 1972, she got married to her lovely husband, and it's been, goodness alone if it was continuing to taste and test spit. But no, she chose to go and train to become a teacher. So while she was doing her teacher training, she actually became pregnant with her first child, Alison, and then she worked part-time while she had her further two children, Jim and Nellie. More of whom later, everybody. So when Nellie was about 5, she started teaching full-time and worked in a variety of local schools. Oakland's, Alderman Quilly in Eastleigh, where she was head of science, and then Priestlands in Lymington as a deputy head. At no point, including her time here, has she ever had a day off through illness, a record of which she is justifiably very proud, although Mr. Lawrie also tells me that her grandfather survived a working life aged from 21 to 70, including the First World War, with the same healthy record, so it's obviously genetic. On April 1st, 2002, that's the 12th anniversary tomorrow, everybody, Mrs. Lawrie arrived at the then Downton school. And she found a school with, dare I say it, an ageing staff, a lot of mobile classrooms. As I said to the staff on Friday, one of those mobiles had a tree growing up through it, which made teaching it rather difficult because you have to lean around the tree, and so did the students. Students generally had low aspirations. They sort of, oh, well, we're going to Downton, we're not expected to do very much. That was the whole feeling within the school. Everybody was very nice, but nobody really had many hopes or dreams. Very soon after she joined the school, I forced Mrs. Lawrie to go on our first ever French trip. So this is her in June 2002, surrounded by people who are late 20s now. And that just sort of shows, as soon as she arrived at our school, she was straight in the thick of it, really getting to know the students and the staff, and effecting change from the word go. She's introduced loads of important changes over the years, so many that I can't even list them. If I did, we'd be here until Tuesday. But this assembly is a testament to the huge impact on everything here that she has done, and the best people to ask are the students, the staff, and the parents. So I'd like to call on my select band of current students and my former student, if they could join me in the lecture now, that would be brilliant.
This Lawrie has been really helpful and nice to me, so good luck.
When I first joined school, I was really nervous, but Miss Lawrie made me feel right at home, so thank you and good luck.
Mrs. Lawrie was always enthusiastic She was always friendly towards students and she treated them equally, which helped her thrive in her job.
Miss Lawrie's done a really great job getting the school to like where it is when I wasn't good enough.
For the 5 years that I've been here, Miss Lawrie has always done everything in her power to make sure the school stands out from the rest, and as we all know, she's done a very good job. Miss Lawrie, you will be very missed by everyone in this room, and I hope you have an amazing retirement. Just don't miss us too much.
When I was asked to speak today, I really did struggle to find the right words to say. Mrs. Lawrie is an amazing lady, and she was always there to lend a hand and an ear and do her best to help, even if all was needed was to pass the box of Kleenex. She helped us unravel the mysteries of space and helped me and my class get a decent grade in physics. I don't have time to tell you all the wonderful things she's done for this school. I just hope that you've enjoyed your time here as much as we've enjoyed having you. When I started in Year 7, I had nightmares about what the head teacher would be like. I was picturing someone who could almost have marched straight out of Matilda. I saw Mrs. Trunchbull-like character patrolling the halls, handing out detentions to slouching in the corridors. How wrong was I? Mrs. Lawrie, you're a lovely lady and a wonderful teacher. You have supported me through some very rough times, so thank you very much for that. But my most favourite memory of all is, while I was in this school, was the clip-clop that you would hear as you walked down the corridor. You have the best collection of shoes I have ever seen, and they're almost as wonderful as you. Wherever your life takes you now, from here, I wish you all the luck in the world. I wish you very much.
So I emailed Mr. Lawrie and said, could he send me a little video clip of himself? And he said no, because I've still got far too much bruising. So apologies for that, I haven't got a picture of him. We have got his voice.
Hi Mrs. Lawrie, just a quick message in my absence and apologies for not being able to be there today for you. In the 5 years that I've known you now, you've done a huge amount for the school and really pushed it on in the right direction. The IB and the great news we had this week is testament to your hard work and vision for this school. I'd also like to thank you for everything you've done in terms of progressing my career. You've certainly been a good source of guidance over the relatively short time that I've known you. You'll be very sorely missed by everyone. But we'd like to wish you a very happy and long retirement. So I'd like to just wish you all the best for the future. Take care.
And you may have noticed down here at the front there are some people clad in red choir t-shirts. That is because the choir has always been something that Mrs. Lawrie has loved in her time with us here. And again, we asked her family, they could name a couple of her favourite types of music, and they did very handily. So, quick guest appearances. I'd like to welcome the choir for a couple of numbers.
suppose something needs to be said. Before we start, when I went to this school, that was 11 years ago, the advert that I answered in the Times Education Supplement, the test, which is where all teachers find their jobs, had the school logo, the Downton School, and the headline to it was, "Can you make Downton sing?" That was the sort of headline in the advert that I answered. And I honestly thought, no, I can't, because I'm a brass specialist, I'm not a singer. But I applied because I was looking for jobs anyway, and luckily got the job here. And then over 4 or 5 years, every term, Mrs. Lawrie would remind me that I answered an advert in which I promised to make people sing. And so I finally gave in and started the choir. She's been a massive supporter of everything we've done in the choir, and we arranged these 2 songs, Miss, for this event. So you'll only ever hear them once, probably, but here they are. We've got the People's Songs from Les Miserables, and the second one, which is surprise you. Okay, so here we go. Here we go.
There is a life about
could some of you send me a few things to say? I was absolutely deluged by comments from parents, so I'm going to read out quite a few little snippets. Over the course of the week on Facebook, we'll put sort of fuller versions, but there's some lovely words here. I think it's really important for Lawrie to know what a parent will think as well. So, some parents I'm going to name, some parents remain anonymous. So, Lucy Hine says, she's taken Trafalgar to a whole new level. The ethos of the children themselves has changed. They want to learn and they want to achieve. At a fantastic open day, we heard Mrs. Lawrie speak. We knew then that Trafalgar was absolutely the school we wanted our son to go to. We feel privileged to have had 2 years with such a visionary, inspirational, determined and kind head at the helm of this wonderful progressive school. She will be greatly missed, but we wish her all the very best for the future. Sarah Skeet says, my son had only been in Trafalgar a matter of a few weeks when Mrs. Lawrie made a comment about him to myself. The comment was enough that I knew how well Mrs. Lawrie had got to know him in that short time. I remember thinking, wow, she really knows him. How fantastic that a head has got to know such a new child. An amazing and special head who has made a special school. Alison Drake, who used to be governor here, says, as a governor of the school, I saw firsthand the impact, passion and pride Mrs. Lawrie had for the school, its pupils and its staff. She constantly strived for improvement, and luckily she had the energy to match her enthusiasm and make it happen. She is truly inspirational. I can say my daughter has thoroughly enjoyed her first 3 years at Trafalgar. The school ethos and leadership are outstanding, and Mrs. Lawrie has been a fantastic head. Helen and Robert Fletcher say, words cannot express our thanks and appreciation for the truly wonderful school that you have built here, which we feel both fortunate and extremely privileged to have been a part of for the last 4 years. You have been amazing, and we wish you a long and happy retirement. Claire Beckel says, Mrs. Lawrie inspired me the first time I heard her talk about her vision for this school. Her support and understanding enabled my son Ben to continue with his football, as well as gain very good GCSE results. She not only ensured he received a first-class education, but she also made sure he had the skills needed to go out into the world. We are immensely grateful to her. Kate Butcher says, we were fortunate enough to begin our 10-year stint as Trafalgar parents when Jenny had been at the school 2 or 3 years and had already started to turn it into the great school it is today. My girl strived at Trafalgar, both personally and academically. She has a lot to be proud of. And Guts family say, we would like to say a very big thank you for everything Mrs. Lawrie has done for the school. She has been an inspiration to many, and her hard work, determination and forward thinking has made Trafalgar School the brilliant place it is today. Tom Reynolds' mum says, Mrs. Lawrie is an inspirational head who truly cares about the school, the staff and above all pupils. You will really be missed. And finally, Darren Breyer says, please could you pass on my thanks for the incredible job Jenny Lawrie has done at Trafalgar. As an ex-pupil, I've always held affection for the school and feel it is in very fine health, which is under no uncertain terms due to her leadership, along with good support from staff and governors. Trafalgar School these days is a school where every student has a chance to succeed due to the very fine facilities and the very caring attitude of all staff. I wish Jenny all the very best in her retirement. Now, just in case anybody in this room that doesn't quite realise what a huge impact Mrs. Lawrie has had on this school, it's also quite traditional when people leave, particularly after a long time, for the traditional Trafalgar slideshow. And this year is no exception. What I particularly like to look out for is the changes in building and people as we go through the slideshow. And I must also say, look out for changes in Mrs. Lawrie's head as well. They are quite fantastic. Before she got here. And even thinking about it as assembly made me wince at times. The change in it, the aspirations of the students, the change in the buildings, the feel of Queen's Word in the morning. Since you've been here, Mrs. Lawrie, it's just a whole building. And that is due in huge parts to your daily dynamism and commitment. Gosh, I hope I take a trial one time on this story. It's just unbelievable. So, what I'd like to do now is invite Mrs. Lawrie to come out to front, because we have a present which parents, students and staff have all contributed to. So it's only fitting we presented in this assembly. Shall we get the front, Mrs. Lawrie? Thank you. Specific design, because you know Mrs. Lawrie is retiring, which is not the usual image of a person retiring. She will be a lot of travelling, and this is really present to help you stay in contact with your partner's family, and dare I say it as well. I would like to thank, in front of all of you students, all the staff who have been at this school, past and present, and have worked so hard. It's all very well having bright ideas. There's only one of me, and everybody else has to do that in order to make what you want to happen. And they need to trust you and have faith in you. And I can't thank people enough for having that trust and having that faith. Because without it, we wouldn't have created what we've created. It's a totally team effort. And the people such as yourselves, you probably have heard us go on about being best in the world at empowering individuals to be the source of their own success. Well, you people, you are the individuals. And your success is our joy and our responsibility. And so, I hope you realise, and I hope this school is teaching you, that you are the ones who will do it for yourselves, and the school will help you to do that. We can't run your lives for you, we never pretend to. We want to see you go out and blossom, and to blossom while you're here. And thank you for all your hard work in making that happen. I know there are many, many thanks, and it's one of those things where I walk away and think, oh, I didn't thank those people. There are millions of people I could thank, because it is a totally team effort. But at the moment, can I thank you for this? Can I thank Mrs. Faulkner and all of you for this lovely assembly? Can I thank those people who stood up and said nice things about me? But I thank you guys who are from the past and have come here today. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you to give up your time to do so. And I know you will be well. I noticed very tellingly that last slide was me with Mr. Roderick. Mr. Roderick is somebody I'm sure you will enjoy working with. I certainly enjoyed kind of handing over to him. So give him your love and appreciation, and you will continue to blossom, I'm sure. So thank you very much, everybody. Just 2 weeks ago. So thank you to her children in advance, because sent me some very short little clips of themselves and their children. That statement Mrs. Lawrie referred to in her speech as well sums up everything brilliant that Mrs. Lawrie brought to this school. That we want you to be empowered to go out and be the source of your own success. We're almost there. We sat very well. So just before we leave, there's a musical contribution from Mrs. Lawrie's family, which has taken me and Alison I think 2 weeks to get out of Lola, her oldest granddaughter. The singing is amazing. She's definitely in our choir if she ever came to the school. It's only 30 seconds, but it's just beautiful.
I am